And welcome to the AETN website. We're going to continue our conversation here with Dr. Randall Woods, author of Shadow Warrior, William Colby, and the CIA. You note that at the end of his career, Mr. Colby's final months, I guess, were consumed with a desire to to preserve the agency. Mm-hmm. And he thought the best way to do that was to give up the family jewels, or at least not shroud them.
That's right.
Any more than he had to. Randall Woods concludes, despite his good intentions, Colby would do more to divide and demoralize the CIA than any of his predecessors. Because of that?
Yeah, yes, and these are unintended consequences. Yeah. I think that Bill Colby loved the CIA, and if he had been in control of circumstances, he would not. He would have avoided doing what he had to do at all costs. He did not believe that the secrets that the CIA had were that terrible. He said, if you look at other intelligence agencies around the world, the things we've done are not particularly bad. But he understood that public opinion and the congressional climate in the aftermath of Watergate and Vietnam was such that that argument wasn't going to hold water. That the family jewels were perceived to be dirty secrets that had to be addressed and taken care of. And so I think if he'd have had his way, he would not have testified before Congress. He wouldn't have revealed what he revealed. But he felt, again, and this was typical of his life, that he had to choose between the lesser of two evils.
I have spoken with biographers who, at the conclusion of years of research, would say, I think I got him. I think I got my subject. You think you got him? You think you know him?
It's difficult.
He was often described as the man no one knew.
Yeah. No, I think I think so, and I'll tell you why. Now, with Fulbright and Johnson, I was fairly sure, but I wasn't. They weren't members of the intelligence community. They had papers. They had telephone. They weren't interested in keeping secrets.
Right.
Mr. Colby had 2 memoirs, but no papers, no conversations. But his family was 4 surviving children and 2 wives, were very cooperative and forthcoming. And they believe that I got him right. And and I found them, they were perfectly willing to be critical of him. They loved him. Some of them had some regrets about his long absences, but they helped me get him right. So I think so.
A bit about the man. After 4 decades in a devoted and devoutly Catholic marriage, Mr. Colby suddenly announces, I want a divorce. And he marries I think she was a member of the diplomatic corps as well, right. An academic and a diplomat.
25 years younger.
Younger than he. What was that about? What is that? Does that say anything?
Well, he and his wife, well, it says a lot of things, I think. I think he'd become estranged. He and his wife had become estranged certainly by the time he went to Vietnam in '68. They'd been separated for a long time. Their personalities were not the same. I think Barbara, his first wife, probably resented being left with the sole responsibility for raising the children. The oldest daughter was ill. She had epilepsy and anorexia. She actually died in 1973. And as you know, a lot of marriages don't survive the death of a child. They were estranged. But Colby was Catholic. Significantly, he began his affair with Sally, but didn't marry her until after his father died. And I think he was fearful of his father's judgment of him.
And subsequent to that marriage, would never, you record, never again enter a Catholic church.
Well, I'm told that I exaggerate. That never. He went to funerals and weddings, yeah. but he never went to worship. No, he never worshipped again.
Yeah. In this mammoth research that you undertook on Mr. Colby's life and the CIA, did you reach any conclusions about its it's often been said that we never hear about the agency's successes, only its failures.
Right.
Well, we failed to detect India. We failed to detect Pakistan. We failed to detect the breadth or the depth of the uprising in Iran.
And the Yom Kippur War.
Yom Kippur was a staggering
yeah,
intelligence failure. Not just ours, but much of the
it was
rest of the West.
Right.
What happens? What?
Why the failures?
Yeah, why the failures, and do the successes that we supposedly don't hear about?
Oh, I think it's much easier to operate an intelligence agency in a totalitarian society where you don't have to worry about public opinion, where you don't have to worry about atrocities, where you don't have to worry about a public conscience, or you don't have to worry about congressional investigations. And so, now one of the things Colby, he warned Congress and the American people during the Family Jewels crisis. He said, the more you make me tell you, the harder it is for us to do our job, because foreign intelligence services are not going to trust us. They're not going to share information if they know that we'll be forced to divulge it. The British have a public Official Secrets Act, and we don't have an Official Secrets Act. So I think one of the reasons our intelligence service has had its failures is because of the demand that it be open and accountable. We just we don't have the relationship that we perhaps need to have with other intelligence services.
In the main, are they honorable men? And a great many women.
They are. I think Reinhold Niebuhr's instructive, and a lot of these people, are disciples of Reinhold Niebuhr, because Niebuhr held, among other things, to oversimplify, that it's an evil world, and that good men do bad things, and that you can't dictate the circumstances under which you operate. And so the issue is intent. Is all you can do if you have a conscience is to try. But I think there are two kinds of CIA people, as we discussed. They're the people that we see, well-educated, well-dressed, cultured, really nonviolent. These are the people at Langley. The people who the regular officers hire contract workers to do the dirty work, and that's the mafia in the plot to kill Castro. In Vietnam, the CIA used the Corsican Brotherhood, an Italian gangster gang. So there's no question about the fact that these people are responsible for some bad things. Whether that's justified in the overall scheme of things is up for individuals to decide. It's hard to say.
Yeah. As a biographer, as an author, a journalist, you had to deal, to get information, but you had to deal with CIA. You've got an amazing amount of hair left for a guy who tried to get documents out of the CIA. How much did you pull out along the way?
Well, fortunately, the historical office did this 5-volume history of the CIA in Southeast Asia. It's not published, but it's a compilation of documents. And I couldn't have. That came out while I was doing this book. I couldn't have done it without that. I'll tell you, the CIA folks are sworn to secrecy, but they love to be written about. And the people I talked to kept referring me to novels. CIA officers kept referring me to novels. Orchids for Mother, Harlot's Ghost by Norman Mailer. And I thought, what the hell are they? I'm an historian. What are they? Well, I began to investigate, and after some of the documents came out, for example, if you look at Mailer's book, aside from the dramatization, it's accurate. It's entirely accurate. These people are talking to novelists because they can talk to novelists. And so
hey, it's nonfiction. It's fiction.
It's fiction. They just changed the names. Yeah. But what they were trying to do was to give me information without giving me information.
Yeah,
but I couldn't. It's hard as an historian. You really can't footnote a novel.
Uh-huh.
But I thought that was interesting.
Makes me want to go see 3 Days of the Condor.
That's right.
Again. But finally this. Finally this. Mr. Colby died under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, it's still a mystery. The thing about when a CIA person dies, and once you're CIA, you're always CIA. He disappeared from his cottage on Chesapeake Bay. 7 days later, his body washed ashore. CIA swoops in, closes off the scene, and then after they're through, they let the coroner in and the local police. The official word was that first the coroner ruled that he died of unknown causes. Then they ruled that he drowned. Well, of course he drowned. I mean, he'd been in the. But the official word is that it was of natural causes. But there are a number of things to indicate that he died under mysterious circumstances. His body was in the water for a week and it wasn't decomposed. In the cottage, his meal was half-eaten on the table, half-full glass of wine. His computer was on, his keys and bill folder on the table. And God knows he had enemies. So I can't say that he was murdered. I can say, I think with some certainty, that he died under mysterious circumstances.
Randall Woods of the University of Arkansas. The book is Shadow Warrior, William Egan Colby, and the CIA. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Steve.